Alright, so let's be real. The last 2 years have been insane for gaming. From breathtaking remakes to jaw-dropping new IPs, we've been eating good. So today, here are the top 10 games from the last 2 years every gamer must play. And if you missed any of these, it's time to clear your backlog and disappear for a weekend. Let's go. Black Myth Wukong is the kind of game that makes your jaw drop before you even touch the controller. Visually, it's stunning. Like someone told Unreal Engine to show off. You play as the Monkey King in a dark, twisted take on the classic Journey to the West, and it absolutely delivers in atmosphere and boss design. The combat is Souls-like but with a mythological flair, filled with transformations, parries, and fast-paced movement. But it's not perfect. Enemy AI can feel stiff, some animations feel overproduced, and the balance occasionally leans towards punishing rather than challenging. Still, it's a bold debut from a new studio, and if this is their starting point, the future is very bright. A must-play if you love action RPGs and want something visually groundbreaking. Remaking Silent Hill 2 was a risky move. It's one of the most beloved psychological horror games of all time, and while Bloober Team nails the atmosphere, visual upgrades, and overall tone, some fans might feel a bit divided. The remake is gorgeous in a depressing, fog-filled nightmare way, and the reworked combat is tighter than the original's clunky mechanics. But what made the original unforgettable was its subtlety. The story, the symbolism, the way it slowly unravels your mind. This remake sometimes leans a bit too hard into modern horror tropes, losing some of that haunting ambiguity. Still, for newcomers, it's a great entry point, and for longtime fans, it's worth it just to revisit the town in glorious, terrifying detail. Marvel's Spider-Man 2 is everything a sequel should be. Bigger maps, smoother gameplay, deeper story. Playing as both Peter and Miles is a blast, and switching between them on the fly is seamless. The traversal is pure joy, especially with the new wingsuit mechanic, and combat is more dynamic thanks to symbiote abilities and tech gadgets. But while the game excels in polish and presentation, it does play things a bit safe narratively. The Venom arc is cool, but slightly undercooked by the time it wraps. Side missions are still a bit repetitive, but it's all forgiven when you're zipping across NYC at sunset. It's not perfect, but it's probably the most fun I've had web slinging since ever.
Some jerks are trying to break into that building. What? You lose your keys? Happens to me all the time.
Final Fantasy VII Rebirth is massive, both in scale and ambition. It turns the iconic world beyond Midgar into a fully explorable, open-ish adventure filled with vibrant biomes, mini-games galore, and deep character arcs. The combat refines everything from Remake, mixing real-time action with strategic slowdown perfectly. But where it really shines is how it respects the source material while doing something completely different. The story is bold and often baffling, especially with all the timeline and multiverse stuff, which might turn off purists. But if you're open to Square Enix doing its own thing, Rebirth is one of the best RPGs of this generation. Cloud, Tifa, Aerith, and crew have never looked better or felt more alive. Shadow of the Erdtree doesn't just expand Elden Ring, it sharpens it. This isn't just more content, it's From Software refining what was already their magnum opus. The new DLC area, the Land of Shadow, is dense, vertical, and dangerous in all the best ways. Bosses are more aggressive and grotesque, often requiring completely new strategies. The new weapons and spells add fresh layers to combat, and the storytelling is cryptic but deeply emotional if you dig into it. That said, the difficulty spike is real. Even veteran Tarnished will hit a wall or 10, but if you're up for the challenge, this is FromSoft at the height of their power. It's not just DLC, it's a mini sequel that demands your respect and patience. Despite the controversy surrounding its launch, Hogwarts Legacy is a genuinely magical game. The world is lovingly crafted. Hogwarts itself is a massive, detailed playground full of secrets, and the surrounding world is packed with spells to learn, beasts to tame, and quests to complete. Combat is more engaging than expected, and the freedom to explore at your own pace is refreshing. The story, while serviceable, doesn't quite reach the emotional or narrative depth fans might hope for, and the morality system is weirdly undercooked. You can cast unforgivable curses without consequence. Still, for anyone who ever dreamed of receiving a Hogwarts letter, this is the most immersive wizarding experience yet. Just don't expect it to revolutionize open world games.
Careful, this one makes a punch. Can't petrify us all, you know.
Accio, Confringo, Defender.
Capcom did the unthinkable. They took a near-perfect game and made it better. Resident Evil 4 Remake balances nostalgia and innovation with surgical precision. Leon's journey through the Spanish countryside is darker, tighter, and far more terrifying thanks to the overhauled graphics and sound design. The action is intense, the gunplay feels heavy and satisfying, and the knife parry system adds a whole new layer to combat. Ashley is way less annoying this time around, and boss fights are still delightfully over the top. It's a masterclass in how to remake a classic without losing its soul. Whether you're a fan of survival horror or just want a white-knuckle ride, this is essential. Astro Bot is the feel-good game of the year. What looks like a simple platformer quickly reveals itself to be a love letter to PlayStation history and a masterclass in joyful design. Every level introduces something new, be it a gameplay gimmick, a nostalgic reference, or just clever puzzle mechanics. It's brimming with charm, color, and personality, and the way it uses the DualSense controller is genuinely creative. But don't let the cutesy visuals fool you. There's some real platforming challenge here. It's not trying to be deep or dramatic, it just wants you to smile. And it succeeds. In a gaming world full of gloom and doom, Astro Bot is pure, unfiltered happiness. Stellar Blade came out of nowhere and surprised a lot of people. At first glance, it looks like a flashy hack and slash anime fever dream, and in some ways it is, but there's solid gameplay underneath the glossy surface. Combat is fast, stylish, and rewards timing and aggression, a bit like Nier Automata meets Sekiro. The story is ambitious, though a bit all over the place at times, and the tone can swing wildly from emotional to awkwardly fan service heavy. Still, the presentation is polished, the music slaps, and the world design is compelling. It's not for everyone, but if you're into stylish action games with sci-fi flair and aren't turned off by the more over-the-top anime aesthetics, it's worth a shot. Alan Wake 2 is one of the boldest narrative experiments in recent gaming. It blurs the lines between game and movie, dream and reality. You play as both Alan Wake and Saga Anderson, jumping between two timelines that feed into each other in mind-bending ways. The survival horror mechanics are tighter this time, with more focus on exploration and tension than action. The atmosphere is oppressive in the best way, and the presentation, especially the mixed media sequences, is unlike anything else. However, it's not a game for everyone. It demands your attention, your patience, and your brain. But if you're the kind of player who loves story-driven horror that makes you question what's real, Alan Wake 2 is a must-play. So there you have it, 10 absolute bangers from the last 2 years you have to play if you call yourself a gamer. Let me know in the comments which one you love the most or which one's next on your list. And don't forget to like, sub, and hit the bell because the gaming backlog never sleeps.